buy or lease in the morning.
Hello and welcome to Paratalk with the East Tennessee Ghost Seekers. Paratalk podcast contains explicit language, scary content, and adult humor. Parental discretion is advised.
It's time, once again, to join the East Tennessee Ghost Seekers for Paratalk, a wide-ranging, open discussion covering everything from UFOs to psychic phenomena, cryptozoology to paranormal encounters. Do you have a question? Or perhaps you have an experience to share? Email us at etgsparatalk@gmail.com or call 865-264-0448. That's 865-264-0448. And now, here's your host, Stephen Brown, with fellow ETGS members, Steve Wiseman, Andrea Brown, Jesse Arms, Elsie Adams, and me, Mike Howard. Sit back, relax, and open your mind. It's time for Paratalk.
Hello and welcome to Paratalk. I'm your host, Steven. And guys, I'm wearing this shirt for a reason. It's Flash. Because there's so much awesomeness in this room. When this place freaking spontaneously combusts, I'm going to pick us all up and get us out of here real quick. Like,
Woo!
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So
Pick me up by my what?
your toe.
Okay.
Yeah. Wait, that's Steve. Yeah.
True.
Yeah. So this week, I'm far from by myself.
Full house.
Full house. Yes.
All in.
We are improvising.
Yes. We only are missing one full-fledged member
I
of the
was
team.
say 1.5.
Yeah, 1.5. One full, and then our investigator in training. So
Yeah, where is that slacker?
I tried to get him here, but
yeah,
he's young.
Like he has so much more to do during this time.
well, he's young. So with me, I have to my right, my brother from another mother, Mr. Steve Wiseman.
Hey.
How's
What's
it
up,
going,
everybody?
buddy?
Oh, it's going.
Look at that. We have applause.
Right?
Yes.
God, I feel special. Oh, dang.
There you go. There you go.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So, and to my left, I have my little wife, Miss Andrea Brown.
Hello, everyone.
There we go.
Thank you.
I'm
And-
jealous.
You didn't get a whistle.
About as good as I got.
Thanks, Mama.
You're welcome.
All right. And almost across from me.
Yeah, don't even go directions. Just
Yeah, almost across from me.
Caddy corner.
Caddy corner from me, Mr. Mike Howard.
Hey, how you doing?
What's up, buddy? All right. And then my other caddy corner, I have Miss Amy Sharp.
hello.
What's up? And directly in front of me,
For the first time
for
in
the
studio.
first time in studio, and I think out of his house, we have Mr. Elsie Adams.
Yeah.
Thank you. What's up, buddy? All right. This is going to be a lot of fun.
So much fun and so confusing.
Yes, and a lot of creepy.
Lots of creepy.
Yeah.
And some banana pudding moonshine.
And some banana pudding moonshine.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Amy.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome.
So first, I just want to welcome our new listeners and our returning listeners. We're going to have a good time tonight. I invite you guys to go up to on your podcast there and just share. Get our podcast out there where people that are sitting at home bored because they can't get out of the house and go anywhere to listen.
Share away.
Share away. Yeah. And join in the chat room. It's right there in front of you, people. All you
Good,
gotta do
because
is
it's not in
chat.
front of me.
It's not in front of you. You can't. Oh, you've got that going. Okay, well, it's in front of me.
I'm flip flopping.
Okay, Steve's flip flopping.
I guess I could do that.
Yeah, I guess you could.
Hockey man.
Ow.
Yeah, there's the hockey man. Welcome, Adam. See, I remembered his name. Yeah,
He's my hockey man. though.
I know. Yeah. And if you guys have
I bet
stories,
his wife thinks the same thing.
she probably does.
Hey, I'm sure there's plenty of hockey man to go around, right?
Okay, Mike, hockey man. So, and there's always that call button up there. If you have something to chime along with all the stuff we're talking about tonight, go ahead and hit that. What's it say, Andrew? It says
There's just little-
number 1 call, number 2 call, number 3 call, number 4 call.
So just take the first available.
Just take first
call.
available call button and hit it and give us a shout. So,
Let it all
Who is
out.
that?
yeah. Who is what?
SCMT 71.
That's Steve Phillips.
Oh, hey, Steve. I was like,
That's
the picture's tiny. I can't tell.
But so let's get the somber and the painful shit out of the way. There we go. You feel
Damn
better?
it, Mike.
That was a painful shit.
You feel better?
I don't.
Yeah, okay.
We're in an enclosed room, man. Come on.
So, as we all know, this coronavirus is going crazy right now. I mean, numbers are growing every day. And, last week when we did this, I can't even remember how many Tennessee had. It wasn't many, like 17 or something.
No, it was less than 100, though.
Yeah, it was less than 100. So I'm just going to go through the numbers real quick.
And those have probably changed by now. Who knows?
Well, they only update at 3:00 every day.
Okay, so they've guaranteed change. We just don't have the numbers.
Yeah, we just don't have the correct numbers yet. So this was as of 3:00 today. We had 271,206 with it. That is confirmed. We had 11,290 deaths and 90,605 that have recovered. And currently infected is 169,311. That's a lot of people, guys.
You ain't lying.
That's a lot of people.
Big numbers.
Yeah. Then here in the U.S., we have 18,121. Many of those being in the presumptive stage. And we've had 233 people die.
Which it really doesn't seem like a lot, but in a
it's-
short amount of time that this has been, here in the States, it's just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I'm just going to hit home, here in Tennessee, we have 229. Yesterday it was 154. We haven't had any people die yet in Tennessee with it, but just here in Anderson County, we've already got one or two.
I think it's 2.
One confirmed.
One
Yeah,
confirmed.
one confirmed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got one confirmed case in Sevier County, and they announced that they have one confirmed case in Hamlin County now.
Wow.
And I think there's 4 in Knox.
Was it 4? I thought there was.
Spreading like wildfire.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. Like we had seen on the news there a little bit ago, they were breaking it down by age on the cases, and everybody thinks that all these young folk
Are safe.
are safe, but they're not. That was the highest number of infected.
21 to 30 year olds.
It was,
Yeah.
yes.
So you guys
So basically, like college age.
Yeah.
And a little bit older.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys are any of you guys are listening, you may think we're old fogies because we're like, keep your ass in the house, but for real, keep your ass in the house. Yeah, I mean,
You are not invincible.
yeah, I know. Probably half of you all have PlayStations or Xbox. Spend your time doing that. That's what you would do if they told you to go outside.
Steve said one confirmed in McMahon. I don't know if
Wow,
that was
yeah.
said.
Wow, it's crazy. All right, but
Be safe, everybody.
yeah,
Please
and-
wash your hands. Please don't go out if it's not absolutely necessary. Just use common sense.
Mhm.
That's really all it is. It's even if you don't think that you can contract it, you can. But even if you're on the low end, there are so many people that are vulnerable out there. Please think of them, because even if you don't have it, you could still carry it.
Yeah.
And transmit it to your grandparents, those with compromised immune systems. Please just be aware.
Yeah. I mean, Knox County, they closed all the bars down. Restaurants that have a bar in them, they can only have 10% of their seating in there now.
So probably like 2.
Yeah. And then, regular restaurants, they've cut them back to only having 50% of their holding capacity, or their seating capacity. So, I mean, it's going to get bad, y'all, but we just
quit hoarding all the damn shit paper.
Please.
Amen.
The good Lord, please stop hoarding TP. And please leave some food for others.
Yeah.
They are hungry as well.
Yeah. I actually saw, I'm going to say one more thing, or actually 2 more things, if I can remember the second one. But I saw a meme this week that really hit me. It was like a little old lady standing in front of a bunch of empty shelves, little humpback, little old lady, somebody's grandma, standing in front of these empty shelves with nothing to choose from. Think about that lady. That's just, don't be an asshole. We don't like assholes.
What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?
A hazmat suit. That's the other one. Yeah, there was another meme I saw today. It was like Jake from State Farm. It's like, Jake from State Farm. Or, what are you wearing, Jake from State Farm? He's like, a hazmat suit.
My favorite was the one where he wasn't wearing anything because he was working at home.
You know what I have learned the most in the past couple of weeks now?
What's that?
How many times I touch my freaking face in a day.
God.
Holy God.
Yes. Yeah. Dude, I'm sporting this beard, and so I'm constantly
I don't know
making
if you call it sporting.
Time
That's what
to
the kids are
shave.
calling it nowadays.
Hey, Steve, don't be jealous. But I'm constantly, doing this to keep the fur from sticking out from the side of my face. So
I'm going to have to buy him a brush just for
I was
it.
going to say
And
it's
some
called
gel.
a
Yeah.
comb.
yeah,
But that's one of the things I've suggested is that you shave all facial hair
that's not going to happen.
because the virus tends to apparently
If I
hide
get
in
sick
the.
because of your
the
beard,
hair.
I'm going to be mad.
It won't be because of my beard. It'll be because of you going out shopping to get that
For
TP.
the family.
To get that TP.
It's
Mhm.
okay. I got the TP hookup. I just told her.
So do I.
Hey.
No one
now-
reach out to us. It's a private connection.
But if you take anything from this, quit hoarding all the shit paper.
Yes.
Please.
God made leaves.
That's
Use it.
exactly right.
And I'm sure you have plenty of unmated socks in your laundry room.
Yes.
True.
Just don't flush them.
Yeah.
That is true.
Then they'll be calling Elsie.
Oh,
Yes, call the Cherokee group. We will come right on.
Go ahead and flush them if you're in the Tennessee area. Elza needs work.
but seriously though, can you just imagine? I don't know, however long this goes on, how much crap is going to be built up in the sewers?
Oh,
because
yeah.
people are going to be stupid and they're like, I ain't sticking this in a trash can. I'm going to just flush it.
Well, if they run out of toilet paper and they're using socks and paper towels and all that, you can't flush paper towels down.
Shirt
They
sleeves.
do make this thing called washcloths and soap and water.
Yeah,
That,
they do, but
is just as easy to use as
So you're saying if I soak the washcloth in the soap, it makes it easier to flush? Is that what you're saying? I don't understand.
No, wash.
Does that work with my socks as well?
No, you wash the wash rag
you wash.
and you wash them socks.
All right. So anyway, our thoughts and prayers are with you guys.
The IGA are in upgrade. That's lots of it. And food.
Okay, guys. Now we're going to talk about what we came here to talk about. And what is that, Steve?
That is shadow people.
Very good. I was checking him to see if he was paying attention.
And we want to thank the suggestion for this topic from our good friend LCU3.
Yes. LCU3. She messaged us last week as soon as like minutes after the podcast was over. I'm thinking more like seconds after the podcast was over.
You're awesome.
And said, "How about shadow people?" So
please bring on the topics.
Yeah, bring on the topics. I mean, you tell us what you want us to talk about, and we will talk about it. And again, we welcome you to join into the live chat on here. Give us your thoughts on all this. If you have questions or concerns, shoot us a message right here on the chat board, and we will get right to it. Or if you have stuff you want to talk about, call us, and you'll be on here with all these crazy MFers surrounding me right now.
Hey, I'm not crazy.
Who the fuck are you calling crazy?
Yeah. All right.
That's right. He was talking about Steve. It's okay.
Yeah.
Well, we all know that.
Yeah. So, creepers, dark masses, dark mist, the hatman, all types of shadow people, or what people have seen. Shadow have been mentioned throughout history. You know, you can research shadow people and you'll see them as far back as you can actually look. You'll find something on shadow people. We was watching something today, and there's like a painting back, what was it, 500 BC?
Yeah.
That had a shadow person in the painting. So, I mean, this shit goes way back.
Or they were just really bad painters and they didn't know how to do features.
That could be a possibility too.
Who knows? That was 500 BC.
It was 500 BC. Yeah. I mean, you know, you got the chisel out and the rock and yeah.
Easy peasy. I got this.
Yeah. So imagine this. You're sitting in your room, you're watching TV. Out the corner of your eye, you see something move. And then you start questioning yourself. Am I the only one that saw it? Did Steve see it? Did Mike see it? Did Elsie see it? Did Amy see it? Did Andrea see it? Did anybody else see it? Or was it just me? It was just me. Thanks, Andrea. But yeah, I probably was the only one that saw it. But then I'm questioning myself. What was that? You know, I mean, was it just something messing in my peripheral? You know, or did something really just go by? You know, that's questions that we get all the time, you know, through our Facebook page and through our website, you know, telling us that they see things out of the corner of their eyes.
Meet and greets. And
oh, God, yeah. Yeah, meet and greets, they eat us up with that stuff. So, I mean, we ask ourselves, you know, is it something evil? You know, is it something that means no harm at all? Is it demonic? You know, those are questions that we get asked.
Are they aliens?
Are they aliens? You know, those are questions.
Are they just a figment of my imagination?
Yes.
Is it the alcohol?
Yes.
Is it the
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we read an article today, or maybe I think I may have read it earlier this week, but I saw it again today, where people, when they go complaining about seeing shadow people and they get, you know, they trip out on it, they wind up in mental institutions or whatever. You know what one of the first things they do when they go in there?
What?
They check them for methamphetamines. Methamphetamines.
Wow.
One of the first things that they check them for when they go in.
It must be a side effect of battery acid.
Must be.
Or, you know, the cleaning chemicals. Yeah.
Acetone.
Yeah. Urine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of the above.
All the above. So, you know, the topic of shadow people first made its first appearance in, here we go, look at it, April 12th, 2001 on Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell, which I'm sure Mike.
One of my favorite shows of all time.
Yeah. You know, when I used to drive truck, you could pick that up from one end of the country to the other, just like the name says, coast to coast. You know, I'm sure, Amy, you probably listened to it when you lived out in Arizona, New Mexico, or wherever it was you were at. Yeah.
And we drove back and forth across country to visit family. So that was me and my dad. That's what we listened to late into the night when everybody else was asleep.
Yeah.
So, Art on the week and George on the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. And, but Art, he had Harley Swift Deer Reagan, and he had him on the show, and he thought that the shadow people were medicine men, just still roaming the earth. Till later that year, he had a lady by the name of Heidi Hollis on the show who flipped everything on its ear. And Andrea, I told her about her. She's got a few books out. So Andrea downloaded the books and started reading them. Give us a little info on Heidi and her books.
Well, obviously I didn't have a whole lot of time to read the books because they're, several hundred pages. But
that's no excuse.
Hey, I don't see you read no books.
I wait for the movie.
Smart move. But I love reading anyway. But so I kind of wanted to get a better idea of what she had to offer and see what kind of what her books were. And the two that I had actually downloaded, the first one, let me actually get back to it, is called The Secret War, A True Story. Oh, man, it went back on me. Hold on, guys. Sorry. I don't know how to work my phone, guys.
You'll get it.
Eventually.
You'll get it. I have faith in you.
A True Story. Crap, there it goes again.
Let me just read that tiny print to you.
I can't read that tiny print.
Yeah, and while she's doing that, Mike, tell us what Steve Phillips said there.
Steve said they had their first encounter with a shadow person at the Klieg Mansion last weekend. 3 of them saw it crossing a doorway. No lights were on to cast a shadow.
That's the definition of Shadow Man. When there's no lights there to, for me to cast Steve's shadow. My first real experience was with Steve at Wheatlands. We were walking through Wheatlands. Andrea was in the slave quarters. We were walking from one bedroom down the hall over to the other bedroom, and I thought Steve started to walk into a door frame. I reach up to grab him. He goes, "What the hell are you doing?" He was behind me.
Yeah.
And I saw his shadow. It looked just like him, because it was dark as hell in there, but it was a shadow right in front of me and started to walk right into the door frame. I reached up to grab his shoulder to pull him back. Nah.
Found the title.
Okay, tell us.
So the first book was her very first book is called The Secret War, A True Story About a Real Alien War and Shadow People, right? And I started reading that one. And now, granted, aliens aren't like my main forte in the paranormal realm. So I'm not 100% involved in it, but I think anybody that does love the idea of aliens and wants to know a little bit more about them and what their capabilities are, read this book. She's even though this was her first book, she puts a twist of humor into it. And she lets you know, hey, this is my first book. So
yeah, and you read some of the excerpts from it.
Yeah, and and it's incredible. And the fact that her perspective or her experience, should I say, with these beings is unbelievable that somebody would experience this type of stuff. Not all aliens are weird, creepy green aliens. They're not all grays. Some of them actually look like human, have a human form, and they walk around in robes, almost in an angelic type state. And she's taken to these, she has these dreams that are like a reality to her, that she's taken, or what some people would say is abducted, but she's taken to these places where she learns things. They teach her.
So that's what she was saying?
Yes.
Wow.
They teach her pretty much everything about the universe. And like by the time she's done, she thinks that, okay, well, I pretty much have every answer to the world's problems. But when she wakes up, she doesn't know, but she feels, she still feels it.
Right.
But she's experienced the gray people.
So her thought on that, having the answers to the world's problems and then waking up and not having them. That's like me every day. I wake up and I forget everything.
You're just forgetful, huh?
No, he's just old.
But so anyway, so I started, I started reading that book, and, I was like, okay, well, I kind of have the idea of what she's talking about on this. And because we were really wanting to discuss shadow people, I started reading her other book, which I believe is her second one, called The Hatman, The True Story of Evil Encounters. Now, this is one that I was like, all right, I'm reading into it and it sounds really good. But it almost baffled me because I sat here and I looked at Steve and I was like, shadow people, aliens. Every time she's talking about the shadow people, or even the Hatman, there's always a reference to aliens. So it was just kind of like, that is the first time that I've actually heard of anybody referring to aliens as shadow people myself. But apparently, according to her, she kind of coined the phrase or the term shadow people.
Really?
She's the first person that wrote about it and termed them shadow people. And she was, in the beginning, she was very hesitant to, because, well, she was afraid people were going to think she's crazy.
Right.
But then she started, going out to these conferences, these lectures, and realizing, okay, I'm not the only one. Now, granted, she really felt out of place because she was a young female, and most of the people that were involved in this were older men. But,
well, I'm gonna skip down our list since we're talking about this now. I'm just gonna skip down here to the alien section, and because what I got was one of the biggest thoughts is that they are aliens sent to watch us from a distance, and like basically they're camouflaging, quote unquote, camouflaging themselves in the dark, in the shadows, to be dark so they can sit back and watch us. I don't know if they're just watching us while we sleep or if they're watching us whenever. But that kind of makes sense, in a twisted kind of way. You guys give me your thoughts on that. Steve, what's your thought on shadow people being aliens?
Anything's possible. Yeah. That's why we do what we do.
Yeah.
Try and get these answers. But I think it's possible. Why not?
Yeah. Mike.
It's a possibility. But I don't. I have a hard time buying that they're aliens, that they're all aliens, because it was actually shadow people that, and because of a shadow person episode that we had, was how I got to meet you guys.
Right.
And I was at the radio station. We would walk into the men's restroom, and as you were walking in or out of the men's restroom, or if you were standing there at one of the stalls or one of the urinals, you would see something move in the corner. And it was always something moving in the corner, or you'd catch it as you were walking out of the room back in the corner. And most time it was just a shadow. Occasionally it would be what would look to be a little boy. And then when you guys came, we ended up finding this child that was stuck back there. So I have a feeling, for me, and just from the different things that I've seen, both with you guys and growing up, I feel that shadow people are, rather than being aliens, I think they're more interdimensional beings, or like they're stuck on a different plane than we are.
Okay.
Whether they're aliens or not, I don't know. But I think it's almost like they're out of phase. They're in a different plane than we are, and we just happen to catch them for a brief second.
Right.
And I kind of want to make a correction on that. I found the paragraph about her calling them shadow people. She said, as a note, the name shadow people is a name that I used in writing this book without ever having heard of it elsewhere.
Okay. So she didn't coin the phrase, but
she said only recently, with others coming forward to share their experiences with shadow people, that it appears even privately other individuals felt drawn to attribute this very same name to these creatures. Okay. So I think the fact that she had never, because I know that she had researched, she'd read about, what these beings were. And so her never having seen anybody call it that, it was more or less the fact that she felt like she was like, oh, other people know that they're shadow people.
Right. Okay. Elsie, what are your thoughts on them being aliens?
I've never really thought about it like that, listening to this and what Andrea's reading and things like that. I really don't know. I mean,
it makes you think.
And I just always thought that shadow people, because I've had experiences and, be sitting in my living room and all of a sudden see somebody go by my door and get up and look and see who's outside and nobody there.
Yeah.
And it's hard to imagine. I think that's what it is that it's kind of hard to imagine that it's an alien.
Mm-hmm.
You're more likely to believe it to be a ghost than an alien.
Yeah.
Right.
And most people are.
Growing up, I mean, we heard about aliens and this and that, but never put together.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we think aliens, we think War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
So little green man in little saucer shaped.
Something tells me too. For me, if it was an alien that was a shadow person, I don't know why. I'm just because I'm laying what I know in my own reality upon this thing. If it was an alien, then it would probably spend more time watching me than just walking by and doing things just out of the what would term as just normally something a ghost would do or some shadow of something we would see, whether it's passing by or just going by. I would feel if it was an alien, it'd be standing there watching me from somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I
in the shadows.
I don't think I'm that interesting, but I think if it was an alien, they would watch me at least for a little bit.
Yeah. Right.
Go, like, what the hell's he doing?
And I'm done.
By the way, who has all the TP? We just came down here for TP. There's none left on our planet. Well, the hoarders got it all.
Crap that Corona got the alien planets.
So, Amy.
You wipe your ass.
What are we looking at there?
McCamey has joined.
Welcome, McCamey. Welcome, India.
About something, or maybe you enjoy the music that's being played, or maybe you're just hanging out. Maybe you're stuck.
Yeah.
And not everybody can see them, but it's just the same thing. Not everybody can feel that energy or, believe in all kinds of things like we do. But I think that some people can see it.
Right.
And that's what we're seeing is we're just seeing that shadow of that person.
Yeah. Steve, why don't you jump in there and tell us what Steve Phillips.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I completely agree with it 100%. He says, I wonder if it could be us seeing someone during a specific time in their life, similar to the stone tape theory. If conditions are right, we could possibly be seeing them.
Yeah. Yeah. And, that's what we usually lean towards, as a team. That's usually what we lean towards is that. I mean, I've just found it interesting this week doing all this research, all the different theories of what it, what other people think it could be or what it, legitimately could be. I mean, me personally, I know I'm not seeing them because of the methamphetamines.
Same.
Yeah. So,
or color blindness.
Or they got to be dark because I'm seeing them.
They could be pink and he'd be seeing gray.
This is true.
Or maybe they're gray and I see them pink. I'd see a little pink alien come at me. I'd be like, "Oh, you're cute as shit."
If that was the case, you'd never wear gray.
That's definitely the meth.
Yeah.
But, personally, myself, any shadow person or figure I've ever come across has not been pleasant whatsoever.
No. Before we move on, I want you to wait. Let me get Andrea's take on, and we're going to come right back. Yeah. What's your take on them possibly being aliens?
Well,
how is your family?
They're great.
They're great.
Great.
Slacker.
Oh, sorry, I got the volume turned down.
So low.
There we go. I'll edit that in post. Here we go.
There we go. Slacker.
Yeah, sorry.
I really don't know. I think there's a possibility of aliens.
Well, I do know that you reading this week, it has brought up all kinds of questions in your head.
It has.
Because you've confronted me with them.
I have. Because that's not a subject that I normally get into. Because previously that aliens just aren't my thing. And maybe it's because I watched Independence Day one too many times. So.
And the fourth kind.
Yes.
That movie's terrifying.
That scared me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
I love that movie.
I've not seen that.
As a kid, holy shit.
Yeah.
But
Mars Attacks.
Mars
Yes.
I must be left out because I've only remembered Platoon. That wasn't scary.
Right. No aliens in Platoon.
But I don't know. I have these mixed emotions about aliens and whatnot. And I guess I just have a hard time, like I said, you have a hard time thinking that a shadow person would be an alien because, well, you just don't want to imagine having an alien in your house or wherever you are seeing them. But I mean, after reading some of what Heidi Hollis wrote about, it did kind of get me thinking about, the possibilities of it being an alien. Mm-hmm. But I want to lean more towards it being a ghost, a spirit.
Yeah.
Because that's what
that's what we do.
That's what we do. That's what
That's what we've always been told.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, anytime I've ever seen, a shadow, it has, there not once have I been thinking, oh, that's an alien. No, it's a ghost.
Yeah, it's like, we know 2 + 2 is 4 all these years. And all of a sudden, if somebody comes to sit and tells you 2 + 2 is 6.
I'm going to be like, whoa, buddy.
You're going to have questions out
He's
the ass.
Killer. So yeah, I mean, I've had more questions about the alien species since I've read her, some of her books. But I don't know. I have to lean more towards the fact that I do believe them myself as to be of the ghostly side.
Right.
But I will say that after doing some of the research this week, I am actually amazed at how many references
to
aliens when looking up shadow people.
Yeah.
I can't, it was baffling. I was like, really? There's that many people out there that think that they're aliens and not ghosts? It was kind of crazy. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think I'd rather have a ghost, peeking around the corner at me than an alien.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's just a peace of mind thing.
All right. Okay, cool. We're going to take like a 3-minute break and we're going to come back and I want to have Steve share a story. So hang on. We'll be right back after I get over here where I need to be. There we go.
Slacker.
I'll be back.
So many people spend hundreds or even thousands of dollars on that perfect infrared camera, hoping to catch that epic paranormal shot or simply to document their nighttime escapades, only to pair it up with an IR illuminator that gives off a hotspot in the center of the frame and performs subpar for their camera's capabilities. We did the same thing. Let me save you some time and money spent on multiple IR lights with one name, Deadlight. Created from the minds of Josh Bender and Justin Brown, who are also paranormal investigators, the Deadlight is the elite light to add to your camera arsenal. We have tested the Deadlight and illuminated areas up to 300 feet away. Did I mention these lights are built like a tank? Super durable and sturdy construction. Josh builds each Deadlight to meet your needs and is in constant contact during the building process. So forget the other lights out there and go straight to the best. You can check out the complete line of Deadlights on Facebook at Deadlight LLC. Justin and Josh are constantly exploring new features to add to the Deadlights. ETGS will never use another light in the field simply because nothing else compares. Get your deadlight today and you too can light up the night.
You're listening to Paratalk Talk with East Tennessee Seekers, a new perspective in paranormal talk radio. You're listening to Paratalk. If you have a question or an experience to share, email us at etgsparatalk@gmail.com or call 865-264-0448. And now, back to Paratalk.
Okay, guys, we are back. And before you took the little break there, I wanted Steve to share a little story. And while I was telling him which story I wanted him to share, he mentioned another one that totally falls in this. So go ahead, Steve, and share both of them. Share the one you were going to mention.
Okay.
And then the one that I was going to bring up.
Will do. Yeah, I'm not sure if everybody's aware of Morse Mill. I know everybody at this table is. Morse Mill Hotel in Morse Mill, Missouri. I have investigated it probably 14 or 15 times.
Yeah.
I would go by myself, but to the beginning, when I first started going, it was before they started remodeling to turn it into a bed and breakfast or whatever they're doing with it. All the walls were still intact, doors on all the frames, but every time you would go into that home and start walking down the hallway or just standing looking down the hallway, you would see shadow people peeking out of each doorway. I mean, it was like somebody was making a ruckus and people were looking to see what the hell was going on.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't just one door.
No.
Yeah. Like it was, it's a hotel and you had doors.
4 rooms on each side of this hallway.
And you would see the leaning out and peeking around the corner, looking down the hall at you.
And the weird thing is, after they started to do the demo and knocking the walls out, these single shadow figures became these massive black masses.
Yeah.
And they would just engulf just certain areas of this hotel, and you could watch them and they'd writhe up the walls on the ceilings.
Yeah.
So they would lose their
form, human form, and just go into a mass.
Into a mass, crazy. Yeah. I mean, like straight up creeper, like at Waverly Hills. You got the creeper on the 4th floor that would go up the wall and on the ceiling and follow you down the hall. And
it's funny you mentioned Waverly.
Yeah.
I can't remember what year it was we were there.
I can't remember.
I know it was cold as shit.
It's been cold as shit every time we've been. Yeah.
6 inches of snow, I think, was on
that time. Yeah. Yeah.
And that was prior.
That was
pre-me. So that was like
before you.
2012.
Pre-me.
Yeah. So that was like 2010, 2011, somewhere
around there. Yeah. But I had just had 2010. I had just had my back surgery.
Yeah. He's like a
few weeks out.
Yeah. Like maybe 3 or 4 weeks out from back surgery.
Still had sutures in my back.
Yeah.
But anyway, we were investigating.
You're so hardcore.
I know it.
Did you see his gang sign?
Dumb.
No, Amy, it was Waverly Hills.
That is true.
Fair enough.
Okay.
But anyway, we were investigating the body chute or the death tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
We were all, I don't know, about halfway up the tunnel. We're looking down. There's a gate at the end of the tunnel, and you can see some light shining through it. And we kept seeing this figure just go in and then go back out, and it would happen, constantly. Like it was looking at us and then, backing off. So I said, screw it. I said, I'm going to go down there and see what the hell this is. So I start walking down, and I get about 3/4 of the way down, and I just kind of squat down, and I'm looking, and next thing I know, this black mass just bum rushed me into the face. And I mean, after the back surgery, took off running up this 45-degree angle. And all I can remember is hearing Big Bob saying, "Holy shit, if Steve's running, I'm running."
Yeah. But the crazy thing was, I mean, okay, Andrea's been in the body chute. I mean, it is blacker than black inside the body chute. Yeah. I mean, you can hold your hand right here in your face and you can't see
and
anything.
The stairs are very deceptive.
Yes.
It is incredibly hard walking back up those stairs.
It really is.
I mean, for something blacker than that, than your surroundings, I mean, we're up there and all we hear is, "Son of a bitch." Flashlights come on and Steve's running up the 45. Yeah.
It was crazy.
It was crazy.
Well, that I remember the time that we were at the dam.
Mm-hmm.
This was the night I got hit in the back.
Oh yeah.
And we stood there for almost 15, 20 minutes because we had a black mass that was over in building 2 right there as we were going in. We thought it was whoever it was. I think that it kept identifying itself as someone named Michael.
Yeah.
And we thought maybe he had something to do with Linda's murder.
Yeah.
But we had that black mass in the corner of that room that was darker than everything else in the room, in a dark room already. And it sat there and kept getting bigger and smaller and bigger and smaller. And then finally we're leaving the room after antagonizing it. And then something turns around and hits me as we're walking out of the room.
Yeah.
So.
It's like, don't fuck with me.
Yeah,
totally was. But I'll real quick say hey to Astral Pathways. That's our buddies from the UK that sent us that awesome spirit box.
What's up, y'all?
Hey guys.
So, and we got another one. Who's that? Libidoo. I can't see it from Libidoo. Scooby Doo.
Libidoo.
Welcome, guys. Ruh-roh.
Hi, geez, too. I don't want to go on there. We're going to scary house.
All right, so let's jump on what Mike was thinking. The interdimensional. So, there's total thoughts of that. That was in everything we read too. That was brought up. Or time travelers. That one I'm kind of iffy about. The time travelers. But I mean, because I think time travelers, I'm thinking, still us, still this earth, but from the future coming back. That one,
Michael J. Fox did it.
But he had, he had the doc.
But listen, in all reality, do you think anybody would actually come back to this point and be like, "Oh crap"?
Maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they're just coming back looking, going, "How are they going to get their way out of this?"
They're coming back looking for TP. Is what they're doing.
We are still out of it.
I have to do homework on COVID-19.
Yeah, I put that on cereal.
Saccharin or COVID-19?
Yeah.
But the whole interdimensional thing. That was brought up quite a bit in our research that we done, and them just coming and watching from a distance, and seeing, learning whatever, or seeing how we fuck up.
What is it on Stranger Things that they call?
Oh, the upside down.
The upside down. Oak Ridge National Laboratory is actually working on
the upside down.
It's very similar. It's an interdimensional.
It's an underground city or area there. Yeah,
it's.
And thanks for bringing that up, Steve. The feds will be here momentarily.
I gotta go.
Open the door.
I'm out.
I paid my taxes.
But I think that's really cool that that has. I think there might be a possibility of that. Maybe not. Maybe a parallel universe.
Like the multiverse?
No.
Yes, totally the multiverse. Yes.
We are not superheroes.
Yes, that's Mike agrees totally. Yes.
And I be Superwoman.
The Spider-Verse.
Yes. So, but so your thoughts on that, Andrea, are
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I haven't personally seen enough evidence to give me,
Well, honestly, the only evidence you've seen on any of them, anything, is that you've seen it with your own eyes. And you know that it's out there.
Exactly. And I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. I'm just saying that I myself, because I have experienced things in the paranormal, I'm thinking if there is, which, there is an absolute possibility, and we discussed this earlier, that shadow people are actually there. It's a parallel universe. Both universes meeting.
Multiverse.
Shut up. and we have that ability to go back and forth. We just don't realize that we are doing it because everything is basically the same thing. It's mirrored, but there's just a little bit of a change. And that is where that Mandela effect came in.
Yeah. Right.
Because how many times, that was something else in this documentary was the Mandela effect, and that it actually kind of solidifies the possibility of that parallel universe, because so many people believe that, this one thing happened, that, they swear upon it, but it never did.
That Sinbad played what?
Shazam.
Kazam. I think it was Kazam. Yeah. Shazam was superhero.
Kazam. Sorry. Kazam.
But yeah, they swore that Sinbad played Kazam, back in the 80s.
Shaq.
Sinbad couldn't play anybody.
And that's where a lot of people could have swore, years ago, they saw that Nelson Mandela, they saw his, funeral. They saw, this big to do about him passing away, when in fact he didn't die until 2013.
Yeah.
So, that gives me a little bit more of a belief in a parallel universe, that there is a way for us to go from one to the other, and we just don't realize it. And time doesn't change.
But couldn't that just be a psychic ability to see the future?
Yeah. Like you said, anything is possible. There's, until we have that concrete evidence, until we can say, okay, well, you're going to be stuck in this,
Oh God, please no.
You are going to be quarantined in, you're going to be stuck in this room for, and monitored 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365, and, we'll see if you have that ability to, go to that parallel. That's not going to happen. Unless it's like
if that
totally
could happen,
like illegal.
Well, the prison system would be empty.
Oh, that's true.
Like, see ya.
Unless, they are still in prison, and still
not even a little bit.
Unless they have that prison system on the other side. Who knows?
Right.
But
in the multiverse.
My gosh. Stop him now.
No, Mike agrees with me. He's over nodding.
Yes.
All right.
But anyway, the parallel universe, I have a little bit more of a,
You're getting there?
I lean more towards that than I do, aliens.
Okay. Right.
And the whole shadow people. And the fact that the shadow people could actually be that mirror image of us actually slipping through. Shut up. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Only halfway. But
checking her beverage, because last week she finished it off pretty quick and didn't shut up.
Fine.
I'm playing.
Y'all, I'm done.
I'm playing.
I love you, Mama.
I love your voice. You know that. Okay, Amy, give us your thoughts.
On what? Andrea's alcohol intake?
No, that.
Thanks, Amy. I thought you were on my side.
I am. I was going to say you haven't had nearly enough.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You can take a break. Go get that banana pudding moonshine.
Don't need that.
All right. So, no, the interdimensional.
Oh, I definitely think it's a possibility. Anything's possible. I definitely think it's a possibility. I really don't think that's what shadow people are. I think that they are, like I said before, I think it's an echo from the past, whether they're still here with us and they're pissed off or happy or whatever. I know Steve's had bad experiences with them. I've got one that lives in my house.
Does it pay rent?
It does not, but he better start with this whole COVID thing happening.
Or at least
cleaning,
wash
yes.
his hands, right?
Yes, he needs to definitely wash his
Or
hands.
supply some TP.
Yeah, well, at least he doesn't use TP, so that's a plus.
Ghost poopy.
But my mother-in-law has one that lives in her house too, and a couple weeks ago, one of my husband's band members saw it. Like, these guys are pros; they've been playing like since they were like 12, and he just stopped, staring down the hallway, and he was like, I'm sorry, boys, but
What the
did
fuck
any
was
of y'all
that?
see that?" And Chuck was like, "See what?" And he said, "A big dark man just went from the bathroom to that bedroom." And Chuck just went, "Oh yeah, happens all the time."
It's cousin Eddie.
Yeah, exactly.
Shitter's full.
I've always felt something in your mother-in-law's house.
Have you?
Well, part of that's because she's crazy.
Well, you know. But, you know, they could be stirring it.
Could be, but she's also practiced a lot of not so friendly things in that house
That's true.
over the years. So.
Okay.
The
So-
ukulele.
She's a good Christian woman right now, but she went through a time where she was practicing
Accordion.
some dark magic. So
Playing a lot of accordion.
yes, lots of accordion and the
Drive
spoons.
anything from the dead.
She's all about the spoons.
Damn polka artist. Yeah. So, Elsie, what's your take on the whole interdimensional travels or time travelers? Or
I'm gonna be honest with you, my mind is just blowed. I'm just listening.
it's a lot to take
yeah,
in.
it
I mean,
it is. It's just a dump truck just dumping.
yeah,
You know, I
because
just-
we think of it our simple, quote
At
unquote.
least you don't need
simple way.
toilet paper for that dump.
Yeah. I'm not on the right page, but but yeah, I mean, we're used to it the way we think of it.
Yeah.
And then you're hearing all these other people think of it. It's
Yeah, because I mean, my grandmother would always say that it's just people that hasn't felt like they've completed what they needed to in life,
right.
or they not sure that somebody's taken care of, or
Mhm.
so I don't know. It's a lot of stuff to look into.
Yeah.
Now, here's something weird though. He's not going to say this. I'm going to make him say it. Elsie has always fallen into the situations with us almost by happenstance. The first time he ever came with us, we ended up going to South Pittsburgh, and ended up finding out that
Whoops, we're going to South Pitt. Okay.
he had relations down there. We think we contacted his grandfather at one point that night and everything. And very just out of the blue, well, come in here tonight. This is his first time coming over and doing a podcast. And I said, we're doing shadow people tonight. He goes, what?
Huh?
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, when Mike mentioned to me about what the topic was,
Mhm.
it was just like, I don't know, one of those awe moments.
Mhm.
Like, wow, again, here we go.
Yeah.
Was it an
'cause-
or a
No, it was a uh-oh. Yeah, like, because here lately, I don't know, since there's been a lot of stuff going on,
Mhm.
and it's just, I don't know. Funny he said South Pittsburgh, and I've always told you, for some reason, that place has got a draw on me,
Oh yeah, it totally draws you there.
and since we went that time and everything, it's like, it sticks in my head. I've been to West Virginia numerous times since we went down there, and I go up where my family's at. I pass, the insane asylums and all the crazy stuff that
prisons.
happens,
Yeah.
or that has happened where I'm from. Like the car that goes up the hill,
Mhm.
without being pushed and stuff.
Right.
That's where I'm from.
Yep.
But it's just a lot of shadow stuff. I've seen a lot of stuff be sitting in my living room, watching my TV. And like I said, I got a big window in my door, or not. Yes. And just like somebody just walked past my door, and I get up, look, there's nobody there, so I've got to the point now to where I just sit there and be like, okay, it's just, and then my wife's got this little chihuahua and this boxer. Yeah, they're crazy, but you know, she'll come over and sniff around me, and then all of a sudden she looks above me, and she just stands there and looks, and look, nothing there. She'll go over and lay down. Well, little chihuahuas, you know, of course, they're bigger than the boxer.
Yeah, yeah.
She'll start barking.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing there, but just come around a corner and you see something, and it's like, what is going on?
Right.
You know, and my dreams, I've been woke up by somebody saying my name, you know, and you know how you get, you're like, oh, it's just me,
mm-hmm.
you know, and everything else. And it's like, no, you know,
mm-hmm.
I don't just get woke up. I don't like getting woke up. I get mad,
right.
You know,
need my sleep.
Agreed.
Yes, and I hear somebody say my name or say something, and you know, but yeah, we got to go back to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, we do.
I think.
Agreed.
And I'll be honest with you, down deep.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, what would you call it? Like a sixth sense,
mm-hmm.
so to speak. I guess. I think the next time I go down there, something major is going to happen. Don't know what,
mm-hmm.
but it's just that feeling.
Oh shit, I'm in trouble.
You know?
There you are.
It's either me or you, brother.
Y'all can't go without me.
But if you see me
we
running,
won't.
you better start running, because I don't run.
Same.
You know, so
Says the guy who flies across the hall onto my back.
Yeah.
This thing growled at him.
He didn't run.
No.
he levitated.
He levitated. He floated.
He leapt.
Yeah.
hey, I'll be telling you, it's a wonders we didn't have to clean nothing up. Because I'm telling you, we wasn't there 20 minutes and that damn thing did that. So I mean, I've never, when it done that, I've never felt that way. And I've been around some dogs and everything else, and no, that scared the hell out of me. I'll just be straight.
Right.
Yeah.
That whole night.
That whole night was weird.
Oh yeah.
And the night before y'all got there
Oh my
was weird.
gosh.
Oh, yeah.
So
People choking down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go back.
yeah. And Rod
So
says that
bad.
he'll come with us. So yeah, he's not too far from there either.
Bring a big dog biscuit, Rod.
Yes. They like them.
So interdimensional beings and
Man.
so
Yeah.
oh, right back in. Boom, right back into it.
Hey, that's the professionalist in him.
Well played.
Yeah.
Wild wacky waving arms guy. So the interdimensional being. Now, when I mentioned interdimensional being, and what I mean by interdimensional beings, I don't think so much that they're in a different dimension, but actually in a different plane.
Right.
I think it's more of a time thing as well. I think time as a whole, it's very fluid and it's very cyclical.
Mm.
And I think time actually happens in a much different way than we think it does. We take time as, okay, I watch my watch. I know that a minute's gone by. I know that 60 minutes go through. That's an hour. You know, this goes through 24 hours in a day. So we've got a time measured the way that works for us.
Mm-hmm.
But I think time happens in every level and in every plane all the time. And I think that, when we say that some ghosts are just like recording stuck in time, I think that same timeline is still happening somewhere on some different plane.
Right.
And when I think of a
That's
shadow,
good.
when I think of a shadow person, it's almost like for some reason we get to a point where everything's just right, or we get to a point where the veil is just thin enough
Mm-hmm.
that we somehow can see into that other plane and we catch a glimpse of that other
Or
time.
maybe just that far behind or
Yeah.
something to see them move.
Like it's almost like something's almost out of phase.
Like a chemtrail
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, it is. It's like a chemtrail, or
Yeah.
maybe we're the chemtrail, and they're maybe
Yeah.
we're in some weird plane, and somebody over there is going, "What the hell?" I keep, every Friday night at 8:00, these weird voices appear on my radio, and I don't know where they're coming from, and I occasionally see these people in this room of my house, and there's no other buddy here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we're the ones that are in some different plane, and somebody's watching us. We're just seeing a glimpse of them every now and then.
It's very
Well,
true.
that's something to
Very
think
true.
about. Are we
Are we
in a
being,
different plane, or
are we
they?
being haunted, or are we doing the haunting?
Maybe,
Well, I
maybe we're all in the
mean-
Matrix,
Somebody
and
pinch you?
somebody's going to wake up.
I mean, if me haunting somebody means that I'm sitting on my couch watching some TV, then they got a really boring ghost.
I was gonna say, and my damn haunts are gonna be a hell of a lot more exciting than that. I'm gonna scare the shit out of some motherfuckers.
Boo.
Boo.
Bitches.
But yeah,
No, I think maybe it's for me. That's what I think shadow people are.
Yeah.
You know, or at least in my mind, that makes the most sense to me. That maybe it's some other plane, whether it's an astral plane or an interdimensional plane or a time plane, and we are just in the correct moment in some time where everything is right, and we get this glimpse of whatever this is. You know, or maybe they're seeing us and going, "Oh, what's that?" Maybe we're appearing to them as a shadow person or something.
That has opened up like just so much more for me, Mike. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Because I'm, I get stuck in thinking on how to explain things, but you've done it so well because I'm listening to you and I'm like, that's it. That's the way I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking is that there's, that maybe there's like a lapse in time that
and not to discredit Miss Hollis's theory. That's a great theory, but for me, I believe in ETs. I think that's an awesome thing. I would love to actually see an alien sometime, but I don't think they're going to spend a lot of time watching.
No, but how about this theory? There's more than one type of shadow person.
Oh, sure.
I mean, so maybe there are alien shadow people, and maybe there are ghostly shadow people. Maybe there could be.
Oh yeah. Where her theory falls apart for me is the whole the whole connection with, and I'm taken somewhere and I learn all the secrets of the world, and I come back and I wake up and I don't remember them. That gets a little too new agey for me, and a little too. I've been abducted now, and now I've learned everything. That's where it kind of falls apart.
That's one reason it was a little more difficult for me to really get into that, especially that first book, was because it was kind of like, it's a little stretch for me to actually think that somebody would be able to do this. Not discounting her experience. If she experienced that, that's freaking awesome. But for me, as myself, it's hard for me to imagine that somebody could have that type of experience. But or be able to come back and say, oh, well, I've talked to these beings and I communicate with them on a regular basis, and I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a toss up. Sorry, guys.
I think Mike hit it on the head. What about you, Steve?
I agree.
Yeah.
Go, Mike.
Yes.
Wild, wacky, waving arms guy.
Man, I wish we had a camera in here. Every time.
We don't need one. They're watching us.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Okay, so what about sleep paralysis?
Had it.
Okay, but sleep paralysis, you see, you see this thing in your room, be it the old hag.
I seen
the
her.
Hatman. Yeah, you saw the old hag.
No, she wasn't old. No, she was young. The woman I saw was pretty much the chick from The Ring, that long black hair, the white gown, but she had these fucking jagged teeth, and I mean, it almost like werewolf teeth, and she was just trying to bite my fucking head off.
I mean, that sounds pleasant.
Yeah,
it was not
the type of dream I would think you would have.
No.
Oh wait, no.
It would be.
Yeah, just a different head. Yeah.
Quit raking, damn it! Quit raking.
But I mean, yeah. So the people that the sleep paralysis victims see, I mean, wouldn't you consider that a shadow person as well? I mean, because they usually see this dark figure standing in the corner of their room. They can't scream. They can't get up. They can't run from it. They can't react to it. They just sit there and stare at it.
If it is, because there are some people that have suffered from sleep paralysis that can actually detail a face.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily, categorize that as a shadow person. A shadow person to me is, faceless.
Like Steve's was more of an apparition.
Right. A shadow person to me is
fucking
completely, it's basically like a cutout.
Right.
a moving cutout.
Mhm.
So that to me, so not all sleep paralysis to me would be shadow people. But I think that is a possibility.
Right. I mean, because if you remember back several episodes ago when we had the young lady from South Carolina on,
I've slept since then.
Yeah. But she had dealt with sleep paralysis, and she was like, I don't know, was it like 7, 8 years old? And she was in her 30s and had dealt with it, her entire life. And she talked of, the black mass standing in the room, and it would come up to her bed, and she couldn't make out any details of it at all, but this thing terrified her entire life. She fell asleep in her living room in a chair, I think she said, and woke up, and it was there, and she couldn't get up. She couldn't leave her chair.
Now, on a side note, at what point does a shadow person become not a shadow person because they take on a different form other than a person?
Well, I mean, that's like the stuff that happened at Morris Mill.
The masses,
Yeah.
the blobs, the creepers. I mean, are they still considered shadow people?
Yeah, possibly. Hey, Andrea, read what Steve Phillips just said.
Can I be as excited as his?
Yes, you can.
Okay. OMG. What I seen was...
Okay, I'm sure he did not sound like that.
Oh, my God. OMG. No. Oh, my gosh. What I seen was similar to Steven's. It was a cross between the girl from The Ring and the nun.
Oh, hell no.
Seen this before the nun ever came out.
Elsie just passed.
That is wild. I have only experienced it once, but would never want to again.
And that's me. It was one time, and that was it.
Yeah, Steve hit Elsie's hotkey there.
Yeah,
the nun.
It used to happen to me a lot when I was a kid.
Sleep paralysis.
Yeah, and it was usually
you too.
Yeah, usually a female figure, and she was probably around the same age sometimes as me, and sometimes older, but she had like a featureless face. I mean, she had features, but she was blank.
Right.
And she would stand there and just stare at me with like blank, dead eyes.
That sounds like some of my coworkers.
Yeah.
I mean, some of mine too, but
so you're saying like you would see like skin pigment, but it was just like blank, like it had been erased.
She was just like, she was blank. Like,
right.
people who are just stoned to the gills.
Okay.
And can't even get up a giggle.
Right.
Blank.
Okay.
Like,
so I didn't know if you meant that or if you meant like faceless.
No, not faceless, because faceless I probably would have shit myself.
Yeah, that would have scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, she was. Her expression was just blank, and she would just stare at me like the whole time, and I couldn't move, and I couldn't scream, and I at times felt like I couldn't breathe, but that was just the panic. And then my poor parents. When she would finally just go away, like she'd just be gone. And then I could move. And more than one night, I would drag my blanket and pillow and leap off the bed and run to my parents' room and either dive between them, or if I knew my dad had to work the next morning, I would dive under his side of the bed, because I knew they had like a water bed, with the ledge kind of thing. So there was nothing under the bed but me. And I knew that nothing could get me there.
Wow.
Yeah. It happened for years.
Wow. Okay. And Mike, you said you as well.
I had a very different, it happened probably 3 times, and it happened between the time I was about 8 years old to the time I was 10.
Were there glazed donuts involved?
Did I tell you about this already? I was experimenting.
It happens, Mike. Don't feel bad about it.
But it was 3 different times, and I remember them still clear as day. The weird thing with my sleep paralysis, and it happened the same every single time, I would be asleep in my room. I would wake up. I never would see anything. Lights were off. I wouldn't see anything. There was no mass there. All I heard, though, it sounded like there were 50 or 60 people in my room all talking at the same time, and I couldn't move.
Really?
And there was people just talking on top of it, and just talking normally, but they're all talking at the same time. So I couldn't pick out what anybody was saying. And I would lay there. It felt like I would lay there completely still because I could not move. I couldn't get up. I couldn't say anything. It was hard to breathe because I was freaking out. It felt like I was laying there for, 3-4 minutes. It was probably maybe 30, 40 seconds.
Right.
And then I would eventually start screaming, shut up. And I would get up, and every single time my mom would come and turn the light on, the voices would stop, and I'd be standing in the middle of my bed at 8 years old screaming, shut up.
Wow.
And that happened probably 3 times
Wow.
in that 2-year period.
I'm sure that freaked your mom out too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She had no clue what was going on, but it happened. It happened. It was one time right after Christmas, and then a little later on that year, about 6 months later, and then around the same time again the following year.
Wow. Very interesting.
On that note, I'm not a real keen on the meaning of like sleep paralysis and things like that, but sitting here listening, I don't know if I'd call it nightmares or what, because my older brother, he's the year and 11 months older than me, and he always, when I get around him, he asks me if I'm still involved in this, and like, yeah, and he's like, "Are you stupid?" That's his word.
Yeah.
Well, it's effing stupid.
Yeah.
Because growing up, I don't never remember being awake, but to listen to my mother and to him, my eyes was always open.
Right.
And I was always fighting, trying to run, screaming, get them away. Why are they coming?
So do you remember this stuff?
I don't remember
what you saw,
I saw or anything like that. I remember what they would tell me, what I would hear my mother tell, my aunt or something like that, because my dad, he don't want to hear it. My dad was always, just need to bust his ass and put him in bed.
Right.
That was Dad.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
But when my brother to this day, I mean, if he would, come around, he probably wouldn't even come into this house.
Right.
Okay. Because growing up, he'd tell you, I scared the hell out of him. Because I would be standing there screaming, fighting, and my eyes wide open and just staring, I don't know, just like a hoe through him or through mom, and mom was pretty much the only one that would deal with me at that point. But when I would come to, I'd be sweating, I don't know, freaked out.
Confused.
Yes. Like, why are you that? Why are you here? And she'd have a hold of me, or she would be wrapped around me, because I would be flaring, fighting, didn't want them on me. And to this day, my brother would say, and he tells my wife that his exact words is to her, if I ever wake up talking to somebody, get the hell away from him.
Right.
Because he will hurt you or kill you. Because I was just little then. Well, I'm full grown, almost 300 pounds now.
Yeah, you're full grown.
So.
Yeah. It's all right. So am I. So am I.
But, and mom would tell you too, if she was sitting there, that she always believed there was something.
Right.
She didn't think it was just a nightmare. There was something that
underlying that
that there was always there. And I don't know. I guess I put it in the back as I got older, but this went up into my teens, 13, 14-year-old and stuff. And it was bad.
What'd you say, Mike?
It almost sounds like possession.
Yeah. Possession or I was thinking some form of astral projection. I mean,
See, y'all talking big words.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's
Floating outside of your body.
It's like an out of body experience.
Well, now I have experienced that.
Okay.
I
Like,
have
and be
seen
able to,
myself.
okay. Yeah. That's
laying.
astral projection. That's
Yeah.
what Steve was saying earlier. He wishes he could do.
Yeah. I have done that
Yeah.
multiple times, even up to a few years ago. Literally see myself laying there or sitting in the recliner where I dozed off. I have literally experienced that.
Holy
numerous
shit.
times.
Elsie's a damn shadow walker.
I
Yeah,
had a dream the other night that somebody was going through my purse, and I yelled at
it
him.
is Elsie.
You know, but
It was Steve.
Looking for TP.
I got no TP for your bunghole.
But I mean, he literally, I mean, he'll tell you, he'd probably look at all of you and tell you that you're crazy just going with me.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he's a little bigger than I am. But then I asked him, I said, won't you go with us? He said, there ain't no way in hell.
Right.
There's no way. And, to meet my brother, he's, not scared of nothing and this and that. But I'll tell you, he won't be around me if I do this.
Mm-hmm.
And Mom, I talked to her, she'll talk with me about it and stuff like that. But when it comes to him, he just put it out there.
Yeah.
He said growing up, there's a few times that he thought about just running outside, getting a 2x4 and cracking me across the head to knock me out.
Wow.
And
That
So, I
would
mean,
have sucked.
so talking about that and everything else. And then I heard Mike say, and everything, because growing up, and I've told you about it before, there was quite a few houses when I was growing up, from West Virginia to Cleveland, Ohio, back to West Virginia and everything else, that there was some shit in them houses.
Right.
And I mean, children crying, literally wake up and see somebody walking through the living room, shadows because of the fireplaces, and you had to come through our room to go to Mom and Dad's, and you knew they were in the bed, nobody out there. So, I mean, that it's kind of funny talking about that. And then while I'm sitting here listening, trying to figure out what that was meaning.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mike saying that because, my family is kind of a little, I love my family to death, but some of them a little strange.
Right.
I mean, like me.
And we all are.
Because my aunt, I'm sitting in the living room, and I was in my early 20s and talked to my uncle, and my aunt was in the back bedroom sleeping. And she come out and she's sweating.
Right.
Madder than hell at my uncle. And we're like, I'm just sitting back because, hell, she crazy too. She's going to cold cock, And once she got calmed down, she was telling about the demon that was in her room that she woke up and saw, and all she could do was scream, but we didn't hear her screaming.
Wow.
That's all she kept saying. I was screaming for you. Why didn't you come?
Yeah. See, now that's sleep paralysis.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, so.
So all of that.
I'm a firm believer in something like that because, like I said, I've had the whatever it was and all that, and plus like I said, I really have, no joke, seen myself, I guarantee, 15, 20 times laying there, or and literally not even see myself, and then be able to see somebody else somewhere else, and then next thing I know,
you're back.
I'm back, and I'm waking up.
Wow.
You know who I would love to have on the show one more time to sit and talk with Elsie? Stephanie Hutnick.
Yep.
I'm sure we could get her back on.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Should I be scared?
No.
Yes.
She's
Well, it depends.
Well,
Be very scared.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
She made Steve, Andrea, and Jesse cry. She's a psychic medium, and
she did a reading.
I'm a big
on
boy.
me.
I don't like to cry.
Yeah,
I don't either. But she did a reading on me, and everything that she said was
Via a picture.
Yeah.
Andrea
took. She was like, "Take a picture of Steve and send it to me." She took a picture of Steve and sent it to her.
The whole premise behind that was that she was what we were discussing about how you're our evil detector.
right.
She was like, he sounds like an empath. And she was like, take a picture of him, send it to me. And I did. And she just like at first we were like, oh, okay. And then it was like, oh, wait, what? And Steve just kind of like went white.
Steve, he had to get up and go outside and leave the podcast for like 5 minutes, go outside, smoke a cigarette and chill. And then came back in. And he was all choked up talking to her.
It's on one of our
it's on one of our episodes. Yeah.
I think it was called Did That Just Happen?
Did that really just happen?
Yeah. But yeah, me and Jesse were like in tears because it was affecting Steve so much. And we were just like, oh my gosh, that's insane.
But the reason I say that, she can astral project, and she was talking about that. So I would love to have her on here and talk with you, and maybe she could give you some tips to help you hone your skill of that, if it's something you would like to work on or to be able to control. You know,
does it scare you when you do that?
When I do,
when you can see yourself laying there.
Yourself.
No, it don't.
Is it
that
calming?
Don't scare me.
Are you just kind of like,
I literally,
what?
and I literally, when I can see myself, I'm like, why am I doing this?
Right.
You know what? You know, how come I'm doing it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it makes me believe like I'm dreaming or something.
Right.
You know, and I've thought about talking to a medium before.
Mm-hmm.
But then I get that person in the back of my head saying, leave it alone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like there's something I don't want to know.
Right.
Knowledge is power.
Yes.
Well, and not only that, I think if you explain what you want to know from her, you know, that what type of information you're wanting, you know, to know from her, especially if it's purely, you know, the whole astral projection part or whatever, she could, I don't, you know, she doesn't seem like the person to me that's just going to be like, you know, this is going to happen, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
If you want to find out something specific, you know, she'll kind of hone in on that particular part of you and give you information regarding that.
Yeah.
Because it kind of seemed like once we figured out the particulars of Steve, that what was hitting.
Oh God, we're still working on that.
Yeah. But I mean,
we'll never be finished.
That's true. But like once we figured out, okay, well, this is Steve. This is, you know, it's regarding this person and this part of life. And that was kind of what she was gearing towards.
Right.
Nothing else, nothing past, nothing future, nothing future, should I say. But more like, this is who's talking to me.
Just make sure you wear pants.
And
I do got a kilt.
There you go. Nice.
Heck yeah.
But no, I know what you're saying.
Let's see.
You know, just sitting here talking about me talking to her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm literally I'm fixing to go outside because I'm so damn hot right now.
Right.
All right. We can drop it.
And no, I mean it ain't that. It's just I don't know. It's just
overwhelming.
It's
not something you've been open to though.
Right.
Well, there's a lot of stuff in my family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just with a lot of history.
Right.
You know, with not just the Cherokee Indian thing and stuff like that. You know, there's stuff on my dad's side, you know, mountain people, you know, stuff that they've done, that they've played with, you know, the black magic stuff and things like that. And there's been times I've for some reason I've heard somebody say something and nobody said a damn thing, but next thing I know, it's coming out of his mouth, what I just heard, you know, and it's, I don't know. I just
have a gift.
Yeah. But
I don't know if I want it.
Okay. Well, let me throw the reason that I brought up astral projection, you know, is, you know, along with shadow people, is what if the possibility of some of the shadow people we see is actually someone that has astral projected to another area, and we're seeing them as a shadow person. Like you say, you astral project and you can see yourself laying there sleeping or see someone else in the room. You know, what if they're seeing you, but seeing you as a shadow? You know, they're seeing you watching them, but they're seeing you as a shadow and not you as Elsie. You see what I'm saying? I mean, that's another thought of
because that could just be, you know, your energy lifting from your body, you know, and just projecting as that that shadow.
Now, would that be like? This is just me thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Me there, and you've seen these TV things and stuff like that, to where for some reason I'm looking through someone else's eyes or something.
Kind of
a spirit's eyes, seeing.
Kind of. It's more like what was the movie? Like the Ebenezer Scrooge.
Yeah.
When he goes with the ghost of Christmas past, present, all that, and he's watching everything go on. It's kind of like that. Like, if they were to look at where Scrooge is standing, watching them, and them seeing a shadow there in that corner, and then him walking away. That's more like the astral projection version of the shadow person. If it's someone that went into their plane and projected there, and they're watching, say someone's watching us record this podcast right now, standing in the corner of the room. God help them all. But
he's right there behind you, Stephen.
Okay, cool. So, but there, yeah. Did you say hi to him? Mike's staring at him. Would you guys stop it?
No, seriously. The way the light hits, it actually looks like there's a head behind you between the Batman and the skull.
Pretty cool. But
it just blinked.
It just blinked. Son of a bitch. But yeah, I mean, it'd be like just like a third person view. Just watching from afar. Just. I don't know. I mean, it's just another thought of what a shadow person could be,
All I know is if the Caucasian CeeLo astral projects himself into my room sometime this evening, I'm going to shit myself.
Caucasian CeeLo.
Oh, that's great. That's funny.
The Caucasian CeeLo.
Oh, my God.
CeeLo Adams. He'll be performing at a bar you cannot get into because it's locked down soon. So, you've heard our take on the shadow people. So now, there's people that have experienced shadow people all over the world. And some of those people will even share some of those stories with you. And to do that, I want to turn it over to Andrea, who found some stories. Excuse you. My goodness. My God, we got to oil that thing.
Sorry.
You ain't getting my TP.
Crap.
She had the burrito for lunch.
Sorry, guys.
But yeah, so Andrea found some stories on the interweb with people explaining their shadow person experiences. So give us a couple of those.
So first I've got Amber's story from Newberry, South Carolina. She wrote, I have been reading your Shadow People Hub pages, and I thought I would tell you my story. Me and my husband just moved into an old house here in Newberry, South Carolina with our 3-year-old little girl. The man who rented us the house told us that some people who had lived in the house have reported seeing strange things in the house. He said that some people claimed that the house is haunted. My husband was at work and my daughter was asleep, and I was watching TV in the living room when I looked into the kitchen after I thought I saw movement, and I saw a black male-looking shadow walk across the kitchen and straight through the back door without opening it. It flat tripped me out because I had never seen anything like that before. I jumped up and looked out the back door, but nothing was there. I called my husband at work and told him what I had seen, and he admitted seeing it too a couple of days before. He said he hadn't told me because he didn't want me to be frightened. I wasn't as much scared as I was amazed. Since then, I have seen it several more times, and it's always in the same place. It just appears in the kitchen, and then it walks out straight through the kitchen door. I haven't seen it in any other part of the house, though I have heard someone talking upstairs, but I can never locate the source of the talking. Sometimes the front door will be open when we get up in the morning. It has 3 locks on it, and 2 of them are on the inside, so no one is coming into the house through that door or the back door. It's neat living in a haunted house, as long as the ghosts never try to hurt me or my husband or daughter. I kind of like sharing the house with ghosts, and I believe in an afterlife now when I never did before.
Okay, that leads me to another question. And this is for you guys and you guys online that are listening. Do you think that a shadow person can hurt you?
Yes.
You do? You think a shadow person? Okay. Andrea.
I believe I plead fifth. I don't know.
I think it can cause me to get the shit scared out of me and me hurt myself.
Well, okay. Think of it like this. The difference between a shadow person, the difference between seeing a ghost,
Right.
the difference between a spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We know that from experience
That you can be touched.
that you can be touched, you can
And
be scratched,
hurt.
you can be hurt by something unseen.
Mm-hmm.
What makes you think that a shadow
Can't hurt you.
person can't hurt you? It's not that they can't. Maybe they just don't. They
Right.
choose not to. Maybe that is not their business.
Right.
That's not what they're there for. So maybe it's that, they could.
Right.
I mean, anything is possible. That's kind of been the motto of the evening. Anything is possible. But I wouldn't put it past them and think that, I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, I'm so scared you're going to hurt me. But then again, I'm not going to be like, I trust you with my whole life.
Right.
But anytime, like on Dead Files, Amy Allen, anytime there's shadow people involved on any location they've ever been, it's always the shadow people
That she's the
that
most
she
scared of.
says is the most dangerous that can kill you.
That's true. Mike, your take.
I think it's completely possible. I think it's dependent on whatever that shadow person is, and if you allow that shadow person to get into a position where it can hurt you.
Right.
I mean, we've seen so many different things in so many different situations that we've been in.
Mm-hmm.
Where something is not there, but it'll, affect Steve to where he can't breathe.
Right.
Or it'll leave scratches, or it'll punch me in the back, or it'll pull hair, or do whatever.
Yeah.
So I think it's
Change your emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's completely possible.
Okay. Amy.
Oh, I definitely think it's possible that they could hurt you
Yeah.
just as well as they could just reach out and touch you, like any other spirit. I think it's the will of the being.
Right. Elsie.
I agree. I mean, I believe that they can't hurt you.
Yeah. And Steve Phillips online says, I don't want to find out, but I think they possibly could. Yeah. So, yeah. All right. Just a question I had. All right. Tell us another story.
All right. Story number 2 comes from, it's Jennifer's shadow person story from Florida. She said, my best friend Casey lives above 2 girls who practice witchcraft. She has seen shadow people in her house. She says they move very fast in slow, jerky movements. Okay, that's creepy. The
That
slow,
is
jerky
creepy, yeah.
movements.
When I think of that, I think of, and everybody hates
American
this.
Nightmare video.
Well, that's okay though. That's different.
Marilyn Manson, the beautiful people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or I think of
The Ring.
Tool.
the second Blair Witch movie that what was it? Blair Witch 2.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
This
But the
fake
girl
shit.
the girl on the bridge. The girl on the bridge that came
Yeah.
shaking.
Yeah.
Across the room or across the bridge to get to the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think of, and that shit scared the hell out of me. I was like, "Oh God, it's coming!"
So, let's see.
Sorry about that.
That's fine. I got to get back on my spot here. Casey's bed had started shaking, and she called her friend Steve in to see it shake. And he said he never would have believed it if he hadn't seen it himself. After the bed stopped shaking, the mirror on the wall started shaking too. When she asked one of the girls downstairs if she had seen anything, she said, "Yes, I've seen them. Isn't it cool?" I'm not sure if cool is exactly what I was thinking, but yes, I've been over there and seen them. And one day I saw one in the yard of the courthouse downtown next to an old church with a big cemetery. I've always wondered what they are, and it's amazing because I've been in the room with 2 other people before, and one of the people will see the same thing I'm seeing, and the other person will look at us weird and claim to have seen nothing. I wonder why. Good question, Jennifer.
Interesting. Yeah.
I mean, why? Okay, that's another question. Let's pose that.
Okay.
If, say, this person, Jennifer, or their friend Casey or whoever, you get 3 people in a room. 2 people can see the shadow person, and the third person doesn't. Is it a matter of angle in which you're seeing it? Is it something within those people that are able to see it? Or is it, what do you think could be the factor in that one person not seeing it as opposed to go for it?
I think they were hitting the meth pipe at that time.
Not what I was expecting, but okay.
You see that? Yeah. Oh my God.
So
For my next story.
my personal thought on that is that not everybody believes. And I think that belief is part of it. Most kids can see things. And as they grow and get older, they're taught that that's make-believe. It's not real. It's time to grow up, that kind of thing. That never happened in my family.
Right.
Because my family was different. And my dad, he got chased out of the Bell Witch Cave by some green bouncy light chasing him with his best friend when he was, I think he said he was 17.
Wow.
Trespassing, not supposed to be there.
Yeah. We've touched on that before.
17-year-old boys.
Yeah.
But in my family, we were never taught, oh, that's not real.
Right.
We were taught to ask, is there something I can do to help you?
Right.
Or, do you want to talk to me? My family just had a different take on it. And a lot of other people that I know weren't taught to not believe. They never grew out of that belief. But I think that too often, as parents, we say to our children when they're little, oh, that's just nonsense. You didn't see that.
Right.
You must have been dreaming or whatever. So I think that takes away a lot of what we are as we grow and age.
I agree. I think all 3 of them see it, but I think that one person rationalizes it as I'm imagining that, or I didn't really see that, or that's not really there. So I'm just, if I say no, I didn't see anything, then I didn't see anything.
All right.
Whether I did or not.
Okay. See, I think that, if you are strong enough to handle it, you'll see it. If it's going to drive you batshit crazy, you're probably not going to have that sight to see it. So,
Well, I kind of want to, because I know we're running almost at 2 hours here. Have you ever heard of a being called a raven mocker?
I have.
Well, for those of you who haven't, the Cherokee Indians have reported shadow people down throughout their history, going back hundreds, if not thousands of years. And in Cherokee folklore, the Cherokee people tell of a creature called the raven mocker. It was supposed to be a creature described almost exactly like shadow people. The Cherokee legend says it was the spirit of a dead Cherokee witch, and it came back from the other world to prey on the living Cherokee.
Wow. That's creepy. Okay, before we go, though, we've got a couple more comments here on the page. Who wants to take astrals?
I'll do astrals.
Okay.
Yeah, I was reading that when it came through.
Yeah.
It, it's, again, anything is possible.
Yeah.
They say, maybe the energy they need to manifest or interact can sometimes be enough to break through to our physical plane and create physical contact. It would be like objects moving, doors slamming, etc.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's their take on being touched by a shadow person, or hurt by a shadow person. And then, Amy, you want to take Steve Phillips's?
Yeah. It says, through doing research, I found that 3 churches were located in the cemetery behind my house. They would bury people in a certain area depending on their faith. Over time, records were lost and the people ended up being buried on top of each other. So that's really not uncommon. I think this is the cause of a lot of unrest there and the cause of so much activity in my neighborhood. I tell my boys to embrace it and use it. Yeah, I agree with that. It's not uncommon. The gift of seeing things, that is. It's not uncommon, and it's always good that you encourage them to use what they have, because I firmly believe we're all born with it. Some of us just learn not to use it, or we unlearn how to use it.
Yeah.
Or we're just told that it's not real.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, how many times have we been in that position as children, seeing things and our parents say, it's nothing.
Yeah.
And people say that now.
Oh, that's true.
They do.
It's just your imagination. Just,
Ghosts ain't real.
Yeah.
Easter Bunny ain't real. I say,
What?
bullshit.
Bitch, come with me.
I'll be fighting.
I show you the duck that laid the chicken egg.
Wait, what?
Where's that cricket button?
Squirrel.
Wow.
Oh,
All
my
right.
damn ears.
Yeah.
And Steve doesn't drink, folks.
No,
No.
not a drop.
Not in 16 years.
Yeah, not a drop.
Woo-hoo!
But yeah, I hope everyone has enjoyed the podcast. I know there's been a lot that have been on here with us since we first came on tonight, and you're an hour and 54 minutes in.
Thank
and
you for
I
hanging in
applaud
there,
that.
y'all.
Okay, real quick before we go, Mike, you want to read Rod's comment there?
Rod said, I find it best not to point out things as they happen, so there would be no group hypnosis of seeing the same thing. Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
good idea.
Yeah.
That's
Very
a good
true.
point.
It's like when we look at evidence, we want to look at it clean.
Yeah.
I don't show you a picture and go, Steve, do you see the face in this picture? I saw it. Do you see the face?
Yeah.
I go, hey, Steve, look at this picture.
Yeah.
That's it.
Or the same with audio.
Yeah, we never.
Do you hear something? What do you hear?
Yeah.
We never. It's that's that whole part of. I hear it say, "Here is a cat."
Yeah.
Suggestion.
Do you hear that too?
Yeah.
The whole suggestive.
Yeah, it's usually, hey, listen.
Yeah, I
to
heard
this.
buy me a taco.
Ooh, tacos sound really
Somebody's
good.
hungry.
Who's going to Taco Bell?
The drive-thru's open, just can't walk inside.
That's okay. We don't need to walk inside.
Well, but at least you have your Baja Blast here.
It is true, but I want tacos.
Good God.
Guess who's making a taco run?
You can't see the drive.
Yes, that's exactly right. I can't see at night.
And I can't drink and drive.
Just ask the shadow people. They'll take you there.
Yes, awesome.
Yes.
And thank you, Rod. Rod says thanks for another great podcast. And we appreciate you coming on here again, Rod, and listening, as well as the rest of you guys.
Yes. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I want to thank Elsie.
Yes. We've missed you.
Yeah, I want to thank you for taking time out of your stage of sitting in your house and not being able to go anywhere and all
Thank you
that.
for breaking your quarantine.
Yes, thank you for breaking your quarantine and coming and joining us. And thank you for sharing.
Well, now wait a minute. It was either this or the fire department.
Also, let me touch your face.
You have to lick his face to get it.
But thank you for sharing a little bit more about you that we didn't know. And
That's awesome.
yeah, I had post on Facebook earlier, a couple hours before we came on here to, tune in because tonight was going to be an epic episode. And I was meaning that just because we had almost the entire team here minus Jesse and Justin. But
We're going to have to wrap more around the table if we get everybody in
yeah,
here.
we're going to have to get 2 roadcasters to plug everybody in.
That's true. No.
Jesse
You are
could just
cut
sit on my
off.
lap.
Yeah, Jesse and Steve can share the same mic.
How come you never let me sit in your lap, Steve?
No comment.
but yeah.
Be nice, Steve. Be nice.
But yeah.
I was.
But yeah, LZ made it kind of an epic episode by, telling us something that he
just being here.
Yeah, by just being here, but by sharing with us something that, we didn't know.
You think that some bitch choked the shit out of me at OSPH? Just think if he sat on me.
Well, they ain't going to choke me. I ain't got a damn neck. They come up with me for the head and shoulders.
And if you are hearing this episode, just be aware that we will have CeeLo Adams appearing at a bar near you soon. He's just shaking his head. But yeah, so tune in next week and join us for another episode. And if you have an idea for an episode of Paratalk next week,
message us. Comment on this post.
Comment on the post. Shoot us a message. Go on to Podbean or Apple Podcasts or however you listen to us and comment on this podcast. Like it, share it, because the more comments we get on this, the more it moves up to the top of the list and more people will hear it. You guys are doing awesome listening. We're getting crazy downloads and we're super stoked about that.
And while everybody's quarantined, I mean, what better way to spread joy than to share our podcast? And
if, God forbid, we get shut down at work, we'll do even more podcasts.
That's true. We're going to be bored.
Yes. So, pray to God
I'm going fishing.
I'm not. But,
please stay healthy, everyone.
Yeah, everybody stay healthy.
Wash your hands.
And quit taking all the damn toilet paper.
Wash your ass.
And cover your mouth when you cough for the love of God.
Yes. Yes. Stop shaking hands. Yeah. Don't even fist bump. Hit elbows or something.
It was funny this morning watching the news. I did see two news anchors. Well, it was a news anchor and a guest, and they did air handshakes. Yeah. I was like, there you go. That's how you do it.
My God.
He's been sitting there for about 45 minutes looking for that picture. I knew what he was doing.
Hey, Mike, share that to the Paratalk page. He is the Caucasian CeeLo Green. Holy shit.
I love you, Velton.
I love you too.
All right, guys. Until next week, I'm Steven.
I'm Andrea.
I'm Steve.
I'm Amy.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Elsie.
And you've been listening to Paratalk. Stay spooky, my friends.
That's all, folks.
You've been listening to Paratalk with the East Tennessee Ghost Seekers. If you have a question or comment about the show you've just heard, or you have an experience to share, or you need to contact us concerning an investigation, feel free to email us at etgsparatalk@gmail.com or call 865-264-0448. That's 865-264-0448. We invite you to find and like the East Tennessee Ghost Seekers on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and visit us online at easttnghostseekers.org. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on Paratalk.